Welcome to Market Makers, everyone. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. The weather here continues to be like the desert. It is freezing at night, freezing in the morning, and then it's hot during the day. It's absolutely crazy. My winter beard continues to grow. Lee is still in Thailand. I think he's back next week. I haven't been bothering him. I want him to enjoy his time off. But you'll see the intros and some edits come back in when Lee's back as well. We have a lot to talk about in the markets. This week is a huge pivotal week. It seems like you say that a lot this year, but it's true, right? There's a lot of things happening in the marketplace, guys. So be sure to follow me on X at Market Canary as well, because I provide a lot of updates on X. And just over the weekend, or maybe it was on Friday, the San Francisco Fed released a 150-year study of tariffs. And their conclusion, drum roll, was that tariffs are not inflationary. Actually, their data shows they're deflationary. I mean, who's been saying that since tariffs were announced? It's not that difficult to do research and read about this stuff and actually look at the market data from those time periods. And of course, they also said that it causes unemployment, which their data set is pretty ridiculous because they included the UK and France in a study of tariffs. You think you'd at least keep it to the home country, but that's markedly not true as well. And on X, I did a complete breakdown of the 1920s where unemployment was average of 3.2%, hence the roaring 20s, where inflation started off in 2022 before the 40 McCumber tariffs at 15% inflation on the CPI. It finished the decade with an average of 0.1%, 0.1 from 15%, with the highest tariff rates in modern times in the last 100 years, an average effective tariff rate of 40%. Right now, we have an effective tariff rate of 15%. So the San Francisco Fed releases that study, yet there's still Fed governors coming out on TV telling you that they're worried about inflation from tariffs. Absolutely mental. It's like you have 600 economists at the Fed. A study gets released showing you that tariffs are deflationary. The Fed's still worried about tariffs being inflationary. What's the point of doing any of the research if you're not going to follow it? Doesn't make any sense to me. Guys, this video is brought to you by SimpleFX. If you want to trade everything I'm going to show you in these markets here, the crypto video's out next, you can trade it on SimpleFX and get up to a first-time 50% deposit bonus. We got a tournament going on right now, Trade League 2025. You can register right with our link. It's very simple. You can join. Simple photo ID verification if you live outside the USA. You'll love the platform. You can trade in stable coins, trade in fiat. You can trade everything. Forex, cryptos, equities, which a lot of you like to trade, commodities. It's all there in one platform. Fantastic exchange. Check out SimpleFX. I'll pin it in the comments section. It's also in the video description. And you can check us out on our Discord if you're not sick of me from watching these videos. And join us right there at the join button on YouTube and jump over to the Discord if you wish and get our member videos. So let's kick this thing off because we're on the ES right now. So everybody's telling you the market's crashing, right? And when you look at the market, you're about 2.75% away from the all-time high. The important level to hold here on ES is 65.40. That is your October pullback lows, okay? Right now, all you have done is what we've talked about for weeks, which is a pullback. So you want to hold 65.40. It keeps the trend intact. This week is loaded. We haven't had data because we had historic longest government shutdown in history. And on Wednesday, NVIDIA reports earnings, obviously huge catalyst. So we're going to do a health update on the overbought 8. But huge catalyst with NVIDIA's earnings. And then the following day, you're getting jobs. Now, the median estimate right now is 50,000, right? Which is a slowdown, a weakening in the economy. So you have high end 75,000, low end 25,000, median estimates right around 50,000. So it's going to be really interesting because if jobs come out weak, that's bullish for the market. Remember, the market and the economy, two separate things. Jobs come out weak. Why is that bullish? Because people will price back in a December rate cut. And right now, that December rate cut chance is priced in at around 40%. It was priced in as high as 80 or 90% before Powell did the hawkish cut. So that's a bullish catalyst. Obviously, if NVIDIA's earnings crush it, a bullish catalyst. But you have to take the other side of that as well. What if NVIDIA doesn't do enough or has bad numbers, which is not expected, but what if they don't do enough? In other words, they have good numbers, but the market still doesn't like it. Well, you have to watch your sell-offs then, because 6540 is your key level. This is the largest market in the world, so pay attention to the S&P. It balances the global markets as well as the crypto space, okay? So when we're looking at the S&P, again, you have your uptrend. I mean, I can zoom out, but this should just be common sense, right? Everybody's telling you the market's collapsing. When you look at the uptrend from April, where's the collapse, right? You have a sideways market right now, a coil being built. They told you it was collapsing here, and it was just a pullback. And now you're just coiling, compressing. We'll see if this stays compressed with this week's events. But I think the markets will be bottoming this week. I think from here on out, we're going to be going up. My bias is to the upside. When does my bias flip? Because people keep asking me that on X. If you take out 6540 with any type of velocity, you're going to sell off. You would come back up if you get a retest, hence a lower high. Then your trend direction has now changed, and I'll be wearing shorts here this winter as price declines, okay? But you have to take out 6540. You have to fail on a retest coming back up. That is a trend direction change, and in that case, you'd be going into a full-blown correction. Not my base case, as you guys know. I have higher targets coming. Those higher targets include us running up towards 7,500. We have our spiral being built. We'll see if we can hold this uptrend that we're in right now. But I want to see a breakout. We can look at some near-term targets before 7,500. We can take our fib here on ES and look at this, 71.38, 72.52. Ultimately, I want to see that run up to 7,500. So just be aware, 6540 is the level. Now you have your reversal pattern being built here as well on ES, which is nothing more than your W fractal. We'll see if this holds up with today's price action. And you want to see this breakout to the upside, ultimately taking out 69.53. And guess what? When it does this move, YouTube and X is going to say it's manipulation. It's being manipulated. It's the same thing they said when the Dow broke out. It's manipulation. It's only 30 stocks. Those 30 stocks, the Dow, as I said before, just like with the Russell being a liquidity barometer, just like Bitcoin, the Dow has all the sectors from the S&P represented it. It is a leading indicator of what's coming in the market. So let's see what NVIDIA has for earnings. Let's see what the jobs number is. It doesn't look like we're getting the CPI data because the government was closed. The BLS didn't collect it. So it's going to move on to the next period. But let's see if those catalysts start to push you up to that next level. It begins when you break 69.53 and you want to hold above 65.40. Let's just take a look at our indicators and a canary. You're bearish. Volume, you sold off, obviously. You can see you're forming an absorption line right here of previous history volume. So again, this is a basing process. Now what this does as you chop up and down with some volatility, it allows your oscillators, your indicators to reset, and it gives them more room to run to the upside. Momentum's also bearish. None of that's a surprise, right? Because again, you've had a lot of volatility. We're going to look at the VIX. We're going to look at here in a second, and the NQ has been a little bit more beaten up because of the tech fears and the tech sell-off. But when you look at NQ, which is NASDAQ, we got right up to our target of the 1618, 25,941. Next level is 28,179, and I think you could run up to 30K. Now, when we talk about timing, guys, I'm looking for a bottom with these catalysts potentially this week. Same in crypto, by the way. Watch the crypto video after this. But this can run into next year. I see people saying, well, how are we going to get there by New Year's? How are we going to get there by Christmas for the Santa Claus rally? The most bullish time period in the market is November to the spring equinox, which is the end of March. You can say April, okay? So November to April is the most bullish time period of the year. So this can run into next year. There's no preset determination. You have 2 weeks to do this. You have 4 weeks to do this. We're looking at the overall trend being intact. We're looking at the markets and volatility chopping around, but so far holding their key levels. NASDAQ holding 24,158 here on NQ. You've come down. You're trying to form a reversal pattern just like you have on ES. Ultimately, you need to take out your all-time high, which is up there at 26.4 to start progressing up to 28.2 and 30K. If you lose 24,158, you're losing your spiral, right? You're losing your series of higher lows. You come down, you'll sell off to some support level, and you'll do some type of retest and fail. That, again, just like I showed you on ES, would be my short opportunity, right? Not worried about, is that the exact top? Because my bias, looking at the trend, both the macro trend from April is up, the near-term trend, October lows, November lows, is still higher lows, still a bullish pattern with an all-time high, just a few percent off from the all-time high, okay? So until market structure's broken, I'm not bearish, right? I'm bullish because the trend's intact. It's amazing how many people forget basic TA concepts. They're so obsessed with trying to nail tops and bottoms. Just look at the trend. We look at the volume. You're selling off, obviously. And on same thing on the Canary RSI. You're now in bearish territory, but again, this allows a reset. You're in bearish territory, holding key support structure. Momentum's bearish, and that's how the markets have been. A lot of volatility. Let's look at some of the. Let's look at the fear and greed. We went all the way down to, I believe, 16 last week, and it's up a little bit in 21. Again, my thesis, and people can disagree with it. That's fine. The markets tend to bottom in extreme fear, and they tend to top and greed, extreme greed, okay? And that's what I'm looking at, again, married to the larger cycle. Let's look at the VIX. The VIX is up again today. It's at 21. We hit our target beautifully up here in our corridor of 25.5 to 29. Since then, you've had the VIX get to 23 a couple of times, and it hasn't really been able to break through it. You're having money rotate. That's what's happening. It's why the Dow rallied. You're having money rotate out of AI into other areas, financials, things like that. You saw the Dow pop. So this is what's happening in the marketplace. But again, overall, unless this data points, these catalysts come in horrible and it turns into a massive sell-off, you're in a bullish uptrend. And you see it on the SPY. SPY, you have resistance right there at 683. You're literally forming the exact same reversal pattern you have on ES, obviously, right, which is your W reversal. And a SPY, I had that market top of 700 and 750 married to the ES numbers as well, 7,000, 7,500. And then you have some near-term targets. Once SPY settles down, we get these catalysts in the market, and you start breaking out 707, 718. These are just some near-term targets. And SPY has to stay above 652, right? Stay above 652. All you're doing is sideways chop. If you can stay above that, you're in a coil. You're testing highs, you're testing lows, but overall your trend is still an uptrend, and your macro uptrend is an uptrend. It's how it's shaping out for SPY. Stay above 652. If we look at triple Qs, stay above 589. Same concept. I'm looking at triple Qs coming off of those April lows at 679 is my next target here on the triple Qs. But to do that, you got to break above 637. You're retesting your recent low from the previous Friday. That was your last Friday close. And you're still above your 589. So again, tech got a little bit more schwacked than the ES and SPY did because of the tech scare, tech sell-off. But there's no market structure change here. Everything looks copacetic. Got to bust out above 637. Watch for volatility here in the next couple of days. As we get NVIDIA, largest company in the world, is going to carry the whole tech space with it, up or down. And you'll see that as well with the jobs report, retail sales. There's some different things coming out. You look at the small caps, look at Russell. Russell, I mean, is that a bearish trend? That's a bullish trend, right? April lows, you have sideways market here. Your key support level right there, 2381. You got below it here at 2353. You got back above it. Overall, you got a coil going on here, testing the lows right now as I'm recording this prior to the market opening. But again, Russell, I think, has much higher levels to go as well. You're not even close to a retracement of the 382 from your April lows, which is 2239. So when we look at these targets based off these April lows, right? 2951, 3K on the Russell. That's my upside target on the Russell. It's like a 23% move from where we are now, right? So again, get through this week. Let's see if the seasonality kicks in. Let's see if the performance chases kicks in. But so far, we have chop, we have volatility, you have ups and downs, no market structure breaks on the indices that matter. Oversold, well, you were oversold. You're in a bearish territory here on the Canary RSI, allowing the Russell to reset. You can see you're holding your volume nicely. Momentum's bearish. Views haven't changed there either. Let's click through some of the things that really matter, because the overbought 8 is 40% of the stock market, right? 40% of these gains. You look at NVIDIA, again, Wednesday, that's their earnings day. You're at 186. Where's your buy zone? Just look at your shadows here. Look at your wicks, right? 179, 176. Every time you've come down in here since October, you get bought back up. News came out, Peter Thiel sold his NVIDIA shares. So you have some selling here this morning as well in NVIDIA. But you're not in danger. This is an uptrend, right? This is a massive uptrend, breakout uptrend. Your uptrend doesn't change unless you take out 164, right? You take out 164, you're at 186. Then you've capitulated this uptrend and you're coming back down. You hit a target, you come back up, you get a lower high, you fail. There's a short opportunity, right? Until then, higher lows, higher highs in trend, okay? So it's an uptrend. NVIDIA, very important stock to see how the market reacts. We could get a whipsaw, maybe because NVIDIA, I think, sold off some, multiple earnings, it sold off some, it gets bought back up, but we could get a whipsaw. Look at Tesla. Tesla went right to target at 462, got just above it, sold back off, fell right to the 382, right? So right to support, 397. It's literally where it is right now, pre-market at the 382. Tried to come down to the 50% at 373, but it's holding above that. Ultimately, people are asking about my Tesla target because the 1618 played out beautifully at 462. Ultimately, when the markets turn back up, my next level target on Tesla is 521. That's the next level target. And that's what I'm looking at here. And from the current price of where the market is here, pre-market, that is a 31% gain from where we are right now. And it gives you a nice pattern here too. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 3 waves to a top. Let's look at some other things. Let's look at Hood, some beta stock here. So when we look at Hood, look at how this is performing. Right up to the 2618 at 152, you made a nice double top, right? You got a nice double top. You got a little bit of a breakdown, found support over to your left, and now you're bouncing back up at 120 here pre-market. So ultimately, Hood as well has higher level targets. Regardless of where this goes, you definitely want to hold some market structure on Hood, but it's up so much. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, you have to put things in perspective when people turn, like, really bearish about something. When you look at what Hood has done, right? I mean, this is just since April. Just look at what Hood has done since April. So you look at April 7th lows. Hood is up 418%. 418%. And I see people panic selling Hood because it's down 25%. And I get it. It's down 25%. It's a big move. It's up 420% in less than a year. So until the market structure is broken, you're finding support right there in the 115 range. And I guess the market structure really wouldn't break when I'm looking at this. I mean, you'd have to have, you know, you really got to take out this cluster of candles. That's down there at like 93. Not that I would suggest you hold on to it for that. But you got a double top. It found support. It's going to bounce back up. If it comes back, does something like that, gets below 93 and comes back up again. These are just opportunities because the trend direction is changing that you can change your trade. But I mean, it's a massive gain, right? Massive gain in Hood. If you look at Apple, guys, look at Apple, right near the all-time highs. It's not capitulation. It's right near the all-time highs, a few dollars off. Look at the trend. Is that a bearish market? April lows, higher highs, all in trend, and it's just going sideways, chopping around. Oh my God, it's topping. It's not breaking down, right? Got to get through this week to see if there's going to be a true trend change based on the new data coming out, or if we're just going to continue up, because I believe this is a sideways market before we continue up. Look at Microsoft. Overall, what are you doing? Zoomed out. massive uptrend and you found resistance. When you found resistance, you had to chop. You're testing support at the lower end right now, right down there at 492. You're at 508, but overall you're going sideways. And what this allows to happen is your indicators to cool off. You went from overbought to being almost oversold, and you're still in the bearish territory. You have momentum still bearish, trying to turn back up, but overall you're holding market structure. Very important to see this in the overbought 8. Google, look at the pre-market, 285, almost near the all-time high, a few dollars off again. Again, Google not capitulating. You still have strong support down here in the 250s. You're at 285 right now, a few dollars off from the all-time high. You look at Amazon. Amazon got a little bit of a sell-off after this breakout. April lows are down here, right? Made a new all-time high over here, I should say. You went sideways to get to that all-time high, shot up, and then you did a retracement. Totally normal. None of this stuff is abnormal. What you're seeing in the marketplace is a lot of these stocks had huge runs. It's a 50% retracement off of the October 15 breakout, right? So it's a 50% retracement, but over here was your low, right? So again, massive uptrend. Look at Meta. Meta's the one that's been beaten up very badly. Looks like 600 is going to be a key support area. That is the 618 off of your April lows. 600, if Meta did come down to like 568, 575, I mean, I would be looking at getting some Meta, but 600 is a good price too. But I want to see some basing. I want to see this data come out this week, and I want to see some opportunities, because I'd rather trade a lot of these stocks breaking out into an uptrend than I would trying to bottom pick the low, hoping it doesn't do that, right? Nvidia disappoints, Meta could drop down a level. Watch 568 if it does. But let's go ahead and finish this off with Broadcom. Again, right near its all-time high. Looks a lot like Microsoft. Massive breakout off the April 7th low, doing this, right? Going sideways, testing the lows, staying above 324. It's at 341. Ultimately needs to break out above 386, and you'll start to see a pattern. We'll see what happens with the data that comes out. Maybe we start getting these higher lows, and you start seeing something like that, right? And if the market's crashing, in that case, the market would be crashing up. So, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Crypto video is out next, and be sure to like and subscribe. Have a fantastic week. Follow me on X.